Good evening, everybody. Actually, it's technically good night. Sorry, I did that again. How are we all doing today? So, you guys may be in bed, or you may be awake, or just getting ready for bed. Whatever works. You guys will be able to watch it eventually. So, this is going to be an amazing video. And the reason I say that is because we're into fourth video now. This is the fifth video now. Just to touch up on the first video was intro of humility, what it means, what pride is. Second video is how the world really lives in pride. The third video is how what Jesus did in humility. How did he humble himself, or him humbling himself. The fourth video was the current video. Last video was basically piggybacking off of Jesus humbling himself and how he walked. And in this video, you guys are going to get some great treasure out of it, whether you're a Christian or not a Christian. I'm not religious, just to clarify that. The people that were religious killed Jesus. Religious people deny the relationship with Jesus. So just to clarify, I am not religious. And if you guys want to talk about that more, comment, email me, whatever. So in this video, we're going to be talking greater depth on even what Jesus said to his disciples in his own words. It's going to be from one verse, and then I'm going to touch up on basically when we accomplish something, what do we do with it? How do people see us? How do we respond? What do we think? What goes into our heart? What are our thoughts? Whatever it is. Then that's what we're going to touch up on. So let's get right into it because we have limited time. Okay, well, in like 10 minutes. Okay, so we are going to be reading from a precept in Scripture. Again, it is in John 5:30, and it really came to my mind when it talked about humility, and the Lord and Jesus is absolutely perfect. So this is why we're going to read it. So it talks about Jesus kind of really showing the true example of humility, and he is equal with God, yet this is what he says. It's amazing. I can of my own self do nothing. Now, that is a very humble statement. Usually a lot of people say, oh, I can do this on my own. I don't need God to do it. I don't need my friends to help me. I don't need my parents to guide me. I got this. This is all me. Jesus never said, oh, I got this. It's like John, Peter, I got this. I don't need your help. Yeah. God gave me the instructions. I'll do it. No, Jesus was definitely not like that. We're like that. In fact, we think we can do it all on our own. Sometimes we think we can't, but we can. But Jesus said, I can of my own self do nothing. Even though he was equal with God, he knew he could, but he was humble, setting an example of servitude. So when it says, I can of my own self do nothing, he is basically referring to he literally, on his own strength, can't do anything. So he looks to God, and in John 5:19, he says this, Verily, verily, which means truly, truly, I say to you, the Son can do nothing of himself but what he sees the Father do. For what things soever the Father does, these the Son does likewise. So there you go. Jesus only does what he sees the Father doing. And even though he was God in the flesh, perfect, sinless, without sin, in the form of a man, and yet he still humbled himself and said, I can of myself do nothing. So he said, I only do what I see the Father doing. When we ever have an accomplishment, or let's say a compliment or an acknowledgement from somebody, or an agreement or a reward, whatever it may be, we always tend to take the pride for ourselves. We always tend to uplift ourselves instead of looking at what Jesus did, right? What Jesus did was he never tried to show off or look cool or try to prove his point to anybody. What he did was simply humble himself and listen to what his Father was telling him to do. And what his Father told him to do is that your will is for you to become a servant and to become a ransom for many. A servant is humility. There is no doubt about that, no question about that. Humility is servitude. If you want to know that more on that, I'll do a series on it. Just let me know. So, when Jesus said, I can of my own self do nothing, what do we think when we think we do things on our own? Well, if you're not a Christian, then yes, you don't look to a higher power, you look to yourself. Even though you look to yourself, that's great. But there are going to be certain things in life that you can't even do on your own because they're just out of the league. But if you have a supernatural power to help you, to be with you and guide you, Jesus Christ is the only one that will do that for you. He is the only true way that will get you to become a servant like him. There's no other religion that teaches servitude and humility like Jesus. They preach self-works righteousness to please, to get somewhere, to get to heaven, to be a good person. Jesus said, no, you can't be good. No one's good. You only can do what Jesus did. And that is our goal as Christians. So what this, basically, I'm going to give you guys a goal. And don't put any pressure on you. Don't get discouraged. Don't even get like worried or anything or nervous about this, because this is just a suggestion. Whenever you feel a feeling come up in your mind that you can do this on your own, or whenever somebody compliments you, congratulates you, or uplifts you, or says, yeah, that was awesome, man, good job, bro, or things like whatever they're doing, it doesn't matter. If you ever feel that pride come up, even if you're not a believer in Jesus, I mean, you can still say, you know what, I'm going to stay low because I'm not going to take the pride. I don't want to look like a prideful, arrogant person. I just want to stay humble. If you are a Christian, then not only are you becoming humble and staying humble, but now people can see Jesus through you, like I said in the last video. I think it was 2 videos ago. And so they can literally see Jesus through you, not physically, but they can literally see a reflection of him through you. That is awesome. So what we're going to touch up on right now, as this video is getting long, it's starting to, is basically what I just said. I'll give you an example. So let's say that you guys have an exam coming up. I have an exam coming up. It's due in 7 days, and I really don't want to do it, but I still need to. And you realize that you're the only kid in that class, or student or adult, that got the highest grade. And when people ask you what your grade was, I have trouble in this sometimes. I show them, but I don't like to do it out of pride. A lot of people say A+. Should have studied, man. You should have studied. That's pride. That's arrogancy. We always try to look good for ourselves, and we don't look out for others. We always think that we can do things on our own strength, but in reality, every time that happens, we almost certainly always fall short. But if we humble ourselves and become low in heart and kind, considerate about what others think and before we think, letting others decide instead of what we want, thinking of others before thinking of ourselves, looking to their desires and interests before our own, that is true humility. And not only that, but when Jesus said he can do nothing of himself, that's completely separate from what I just said about humility. There's aspects of humility. Jesus said he can do nothing of himself. And even though he can do it, he was becoming humble. He humbled himself as a servant. And God gave him that task because he only can do what he saw the Father doing. Now, this video is not to try to convert you. Like I said, I am not trying to convert you. But one thing is important. Jesus said that you must be born again in order to enter the kingdom of heaven. And in order to do that, you must turn from your sins and trust in Jesus alone. And you will have an unbelieving heart is an unrepentant heart. So it means you will not accept him. A believing heart is a repentant heart. You either have your ears open or your ears closed. You either have one ear open and one ear closed. You either go through your ears and stays in, or you go through your ears and out the other. The truth is the truth. So you guys want to accept it, totally fine. If not, eternal damnation. Jesus gave you a simple option. It's heaven or hell. Why would you pick hell? It's stupid. It's ridiculous. So, but anyways, I'm getting off topic. Yeah. But anyways, so this is the goal. Whenever you have an achievement or award or you feel self-motivated, remember it and try to practice this. Be low. Be still. I know it seems hard, but look at it as not a have to, or a try to, but a get to. You get to try to be humble. Try it out. If you get a good grade on a test, or your friend congratulates you, say, hey, I can't take the credit. That was all God. If you're not a Christian, then just be low, you know? I suggest you become a Christian, though, because Jesus does love you, and he doesn't want you to go to hell. So this video is getting pretty long, guys. Yeah. I just wanted to touch up on humility more and how Jesus walked. It's a pretty short video, but the gist of it is what Jesus is saying right here. He said that he of his own self can do nothing. And yes, he can do anything he wants by himself. But he was saying that because the Father told him to become a servant. And he humbled himself as God in the flesh, as God was in heaven in spirit, came down to earth, humbled himself, became a servant, and that was his goal. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave it in the drop down description box. If not, have a wonderful night, guys. Grace and peace. The next video, I will be introducing some details on the disciples and how they were trying to be better than one another to see which one Christ honored more. This is going to be an interesting video next. So just, yeah, be ready for the next video, guys. It's coming soon, right around the corner, maybe even tomorrow. Just depends on what I'm doing. Alright, guys, you guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you for watching this video. You don't have to subscribe, nor do you have to like it. I'm not looking for likes or subscribers. All I want you to know is that you took something out of this video and it touched your heart. God bless, grace, and peace.